Well, tonight we're going to be talking about rails and trails. As Nita said, Jane and I have been riding, not really walking much, but riding bicycles on rails and trails across the nation. And there's some in every state, and we'd love to do them in every state, but we haven't done anywhere near that many. But there's some fairly close to here that you'll learn about, but also in other parts of the nation. So I kind of wanted to take you with us on a ride on some of those trails. So you'll see some pictures, you'll see some video clips of different things. And what I wanted to do is, since I was going to take you on a ride with us, instead of chairs, I wanted to put in stationary exercise bikes. Everybody could be pedaling while we were talking, but it just didn't work out. So I hope you enjoy your chairs. So from Rails to Trails, a new chapter in our communities, because you know we are hoping to get the Saluda Grade Trail here before too long. But I wanted to mention rail banking a minute. This slide was up there early. All the rails and trails that I'm aware of in the nation do something called rail banking. So when the railroads sell a track, or not the track, but the track too, but the road bed, when they sell the, what's it called? Anyway, the whole road bed, the what, right away? Something like that. Anyway, they do something called rail banking. It's a federal program where you can use the trails, convert it to a trail, but if the railroads ever need it back, let's say there's a war, let's say there's an economic change where there's a brand new plant is coming and they need the rail back, they can take it back and the road bed is already there. They don't have to break it all up and rebuy all the land and all that kind of stuff. They buy it back from the Rails to Trail Conservancy.
To my knowledge, that's never happened.
It's only happened 3 times.
Oh, 3 times, okay.
From what I've read, it's only happened 3 times where they've had to buy it back since, when was the first one, in the 60s?
Yeah,
We'll look at that anyway. But anyway, look at it. If economic conditions change, the land can be converted back to an active rail. It protects the right-of-way from breaking it up and fragmenting it everywhere. Provides valuable community recreation space in the meantime, which is what we're hoping to do. It avoids the high cost of having to buy new land for transportation corridors in the future. And Jane's going to talk about how it just started.
Yeah, so just a little idea of how this will go. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the trails themselves, and then we're going to show you lots of pictures.
Pictures and some video clips.
You don't know where else to start. The first thing I wanted to share was where it started. Officially where it started was in Wisconsin, in case you didn't know that. There's a trail in Wisconsin called the Elroy Sparta Trail. It's 32.5 miles long. It's from former Chicago and Northwestern line. And it opened in 1967. So this has been going on a while. This is not a new concept. So it has been going on a long time. This is one of the very first rail trails that was developed. Roughly 60 to 70,000 visitors ride this or walk this trail every year. Features 3 hand-dug tunnels. So this trail, of course, the rails go back to the late 1800s. And one of those hand-dug tunnels was 3/4 of a mile long. And by hand-dug, that means picks and axes and all the things that they would use in that case. This is an example of turning an abandoned corridor into a community, and so this is really what started the national movement. Conversations around this and community revitalization. And it shifted the idea of rail corridors from serving trains to serving people, which is a big distinction. And this particular trail demonstrates how a single trail can spark a movement to reclaim historical rail lines for people. So this is where it started. Where we're going to start is our time that we've spent on the Swamp Raft. How many of you have ever been to the Swamp Raft Trail? So this is one you're familiar with. So this one is in Greenville, 20 miles officially, but if you've ever ridden it, you know there's more in TR, and now they're pushing it all the way down past Greenville Tech. But it's 20-ish miles officially if you ride beginning to end with what's marked now. It is the former Greenville and former Greenville and Northern Railroad, opened in 2010, in case you didn't know. It connects Greenville Tech through downtown and into past Furman and into TR. Early skepticism was around cost, safety, and usage. Same things that we're hearing here, right? A lot of the same things. In 2023, Greenville County analysis estimated $30 to $40 million per year in direct and indirect economic activity on this trail. It's a lot. And almost 1 million people ride this trail annually. It is a major trail. Don't go on a Saturday.
Or Sunday.
Or Sunday. TR specifically was the beneficiary of a lot of the growth, as you may have known if you've been down there. And this particular one shows you how a trail can expand recreation and wellness. Can you click one more time? While keeping the community's character. And I think that's an important thing for us to consider here. And TR has kept its character. It's just been the beneficiary of some nice economic benefits. Yeah.
And
I'm his wife. I have to do Did he help? Just don't touch on it. Okay.
Interestingly, that's probably the trail we've ridden more than any other trail, but I've got the fewest pictures of it because for some reason I just don't take pictures there because it's so common to me. But here's one of me and Jane in TR up on one end of the trail. This is my son Jonathan and my daughter Kristen. They're on the trail down a little bit closer just south of Greenville a little bit where they have the big Air Force jet up there, that memorial. Then comes the Acosta Trail in Hendersonville.
So how many of you have ridden Acosta or walked Acosta already? It's a great trail. We've ridden it several times. Henderson to Brevard is the long-term goal. In the end, it'll be 19 miles long between those two towns. It's the former, why can't I say that tonight? Former Acosta Southern Railway. The first 6 miles was opened up last year. We rode it on the day of the ribbon cutting. It was lovely.
Yeah.
Right now, they're estimating 300 to 500 users per day, primarily in that Hendersonville section where people are walking a lot. Timeline, this is interesting. The conversations for this began in 2008, so almost 20 years ago. So it took a while. The corridor was purchased in 21, and then they began construction in 23, in just a couple of years, which I think is encouraging. It's built through long-term advocacy. This took time. It took people who were very passionate about this project. And then the rail banking piece that Ralph mentioned, and then strong regional partnerships. Lots of that, if you see the sign. You can turn a dormant mill line, and this was specifically going into the Acosta Mill, into a regional asset.
And just to give you a couple pictures, this was a Wednesday in November. So it's wintertime now. So coming across other people.
There's a nice creek area.
Just meeting them.
Little bit of waterfall right here. The rapids, I call it. Pedal on, pedal on.
Again, the fencing, that just caught my attention because I've never seen fencing as good as this and on any trails anywhere. So it's a beautiful trail. In most cases, it's pretty wide.
Coming upon the brewery again. It's lunchtime on a Wednesday. Bellside Brewery, Acosta Market.
Again, this is a Wednesday in November. Normally this place is packed. It's just on the weekend. It's beautiful. I kind of want you to see along the way as you're riding with me. Sorry I didn't get the exercise bikes for you. We'll see some parts of it here. And again, just the road markings are always really good, so you know when to slow down, stop, look both ways, all that kind of stuff.
And that's important, because that was something I heard 3 years ago at one of the meetings at Polk County, was concern over how they're gonna deal with the number of intersections, and there's gonna be a lot.
Because railroads cross intersections, they go over highways, they go under highways, they're all over the place, so how do they deal with it?
But there's like the bumpy things there, there's lights,
Yeah.
the Acosta's done really well.
They've done a good job on it. And even if you think you're alone, you're not. There's your shadow. Janie, you want to talk about?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was rolling my eyes.
Acosta Trail, Johnson City to Elizabethton, Tennessee.
So we did this trail last fall, and it's a really sweet trail. That's
It's
probably
about 2 hours from here, maybe?
it's the sweet trail. And this is not, it's not the Tweetsie Railroad in Blowing Rock, the amusement park. This was originally called the Tweetsie Trail. It's roughly 10 miles long, and it connects, I think I say this right, Elizabethton? Is that how you say that correctly? And Johnson City. And it was ET and WNC Railroad, Tweetsie is what they called it. Opened in 2014. About 1,000 users a day. This is a very, very well-used trail. It was built quickly and very cost-effectively with local partnerships. A lot of corporate sponsors provided a key active transportation route for ETSU students, and there are students everywhere on that trail. It's a wonderful benefit for the college. Extremely high usage, a lot of walkers, a lot of runners. He's got some pictures of some cute co-eds, of course. Helped Johnson City reposition itself as an outdoor recreation hub. And it's an example of a situation where, there you go, proof that a mid-length trail, this is a pretty short trail, it's not much longer than Acoustic is already, can be transformative when it connects real daily destinations in this particular case.
It does. And one thing that's always important is you need to fuel yourself. So you're talking about people on trails, you know, using local businesses and coffee shops and restaurants and all, you know, that's definitely a thing. So we fuel ourselves before we jump on the trail and start pedaling.
The Milligan Depot. There's some horses out there. You can see. I'm just looking at the horses in the pasture.
And again, like I said, the railroad can't do like a roller coaster. It can't go up and down, so they have to cut through banks and go build bridges over valleys and things like that. But it's beautiful when you're pedaling down through places like this. And it also, talking about crossing a highway, it's crossing Highway 321 here. You can see the big bridge coming up there.
This is an impressive bridge.
Yeah, it is. You've got a cage over the bridge, so you can't throw stuff down on cars and stuff like that.
And this is right by the ETSU campus. ETSU.
Did you hear it? It sounds like you're frying bacon and your tires and all that type of surface.
And he's going to the next one. And the next one. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, the next video is a little similar, but we come.
Did you hear that guy blowing the train whistles and
Somebody on a bicycle had one of those wooden frame whistles. But we're gonna come up here to one end of the Tweetsie Trail, which is one of the trailheads. And as we talk about trailheads, it's not a trailhead just at the beginning and just at the end. They're all over the place. It means you can go and park anywhere, start anywhere you want to, ride. If you've got, 30 minutes to go ride, you can pick a trailhead. With this trailhead coming up, we've been climbing a 1% grade here for about 20 minutes, so I can feel it. But we're coming to the trailhead on one end.
And we actually had an Airbnb on the other end at Elizabethton.
Yeah.
Right by the trail. So it's really nice. And Ralph made friends here. No surprise, he made friends. See? Told you.
And they were getting our picture there.
How are you filming this?
Huh?
How are you filming this?
Oh, I have an entire film crew to go with it. I'll tell you about that later. It's a valid question, but I'll tell you about that later. And then that's the picture the girl took of us right there, so I had to include that in there just to show you what it looked like. And then we're gonna go to the Thermal Belt Trail near here, about 30 minutes from here.
How many of you ever ridden Thermal Belt?
Thornbelt's a nice trail.
I didn't even know it existed. I was doing some work over in Forest City, and we went to lunch in Spindale, and we were like, that's a trail. We could see it, and it's a trail. So this particular one goes from Forest City to Gilkey, which is just north of Ruffton. It's 13 miles. It's a great ride. In the middle is Spindale. If you've never been to Spindale, it's a great place to start the trail. It's a former Southern Railroad textile mill corridor, just like Augusta, actually. Finished up not that long ago, and it's a beautiful trail. Averages 400 to 600 users a day, particularly that central section where Spindale is. That's where a lot of the folks are. It connects Ruffton, Spindale, and Forest City. Continuous paved. It is a beautiful trail. Lots of local investment as well. Even along some of the trail where you're riding by some of those mills, they've got local school kids to do murals. So it's very nice. And it shows how a well-placed trail can link multiple towns and revive a former mill corridor.
Well, this is part of the trail here. It is paved. It's really nice. It was snowing on us there. No, that's just the snow coming off the trees. It's springtime again, and just beautiful, thank you. It's just a beautiful trail, and again, cutting through the hills and everything, making beautiful embankments along the way. You can see where the road goes over up there, and that was in the fall, obviously. The first picture was in the spring.
Yeah,
One of the cool things is they have an old abandoned gold mine with a lot of history around it. And a great, you can't see it, but the great gazebo just to my right here is a good place to stretch a hammock, by the way, when you have lunch. But you can go up and read about the gold mines, but they actually minted gold coins back in the day out of this gold mine. It was one of the mints along with Philadelphia and Denver, which is news to me, but it's pretty cool. And then there's Jane cruising along once again, and now we're going to go to
Before we go to Virginia though, if you have not done this trail, walked this trail, it is particularly the the Spindale to Gilkey section is just beautiful. It's 30 minutes from here.
There's restaurants, pizza places, all kinds of good things
It's
along the
really,
way,
really lovely.
on the trail.
For sure. So Virginia Creeper Trail. Anybody never done it? Isn't it awesome? It's like one of our favorites. We've done it a couple of times. Abington to Whitetop. And in between is Damascus. And the Damascus to Whitetop section was really impacted negatively by Helene. But the Abington to the Damascus section is back as pretty as it ever was. This is a 34-mile trail. It's a long trail. In Damascus specifically, I don't know, Scott, you would know this, if it parallels or it becomes part of the Appalachian Trail. It's part of the 18th. Former Norfolk and Western as well. Opened in 1987, it's been around a while. They estimate roughly 250,000, 300,000 users per year. Famous for its gentle downhill ride, restored trestles and mountain scenery. Ralph got some beautiful shots of this particular trail. 47 trestles and bridges. It is just remarkable. Damascus became a classic trail town with, if you've ever been there, bike shops, cool breweries, all the things that would go with that. And it's a mountain town. It's a reminder that a mountain town can reinvent itself around outdoor recreation without losing its identity. And that's how I feel about Damascus. It still feels like Damascus.
Yeah, being part of the Appalachian Trail, the hikers are coming through there, the cyclists are coming through there. It's just a really neat place. In fact, they call themselves Trail Town USA because you've got not only this trail, the Virginia Creeper Trail, but you've got the Appalachian Trail coming through there. But this is just a shot of right in the middle of Damascus. But the scenery along the way just blows my mind. And as a photographer, I just enjoy trying to capture some of that and just seeing things like this and not paved. But it runs, let's see, the part from Abington to Damascus pretty much runs by the river most of the way. And it's just beautiful river scenes. And we'll get a quick little clip here of what should be Shenandoah. Old cattle gate there.
One thing while this is playing, you'll notice Ralph changes bikes. He's on a mountain bike here. And so he's totally fine on the flat with the mountain bike. I always take my e-bike. But if it goes on the trail, you know, you could use either one because you're not gonna have that much of a grade. I'm always on my e-bike. Go e-bike.
Yeah, cliffs on one side, river on the other. That was an early spring ride there. And one of the bridges I love is this one. It's probably 100 yards long. I think it's 100, 110 yards long. It's about 40 feet above the river. It's curved. It's one of the old trestles there. And they made quite a nice path on it. That day it was a little rainy, so I have a rain jacket.
And this is pre-hilling, this picture, just to know.
Yeah, a couple of pre-hilling ones there.
That's pre-hilling.
Yeah, recognize Mike? Recognize James Mike? Anyway,
No, it's
James,
not my dog, so.
hilling across there, but the bridge is pretty, the way it curves there. And I'm going to show you a quick scene of us just going across that bridge. See that makes it fine still. And you're pretty high up over the river.
This is post-hilling. You can see the difference.
This was also last fall.
So it's a year after.
Last fall, so that drought has got the water level really down right now. Y'all smile, get your picture.
Did you do the other section from Damascus up?
Not this time because it's closed.
Oh, we have.
It was
We have.
destroyed by Helene, but
Okay, so it's not
I
over.
pedaled it up and down. It's a 40% grade,
Yeah.
and it's quite a workout going up. And
I did it one time coming from White Top down, and that was the last time I'm gonna do it, because I thought I was gonna die. I really did.
If you want to go from White Top down to Damascus, you don't even need a chain on
You
your
just-
bike. All you need is brakes.
Yeah.
Those of you who've ridden it. but
It is pretty.
You can't ride it right now. It was really messed up. And it had a lot of bridges that were torn up. And this is actually a different curved bridge on the trail. It's not the same one, but it's similar, not quite as long. And
This
then-
is my favorite spot on the trail.
This is just a beautiful place. This is farmland, and the railroad bridge went over the farmland, which is just so cool. Then also you have places along there like, this is not a gazebo, but it's something like it, where you have places you can stop and eat, which we were doing, stopping, watching the river a little bit, take a break, have a sandwich, let the river flow by, just enjoy the day, and I didn't have a hammock in that one. But, again, going through farmland, this was early spring, was a spring planting going on, but they're just amazed at the scenery. And, some depots along the way too, some old maintenance depots, and you'll see things like this where they left some rail there so they can display a few artifacts. And we're heading toward Abington in this particular picture. The cool thing about that is, y'all remember this picture here with a ghost train coming through Saluda on a full moon night? It'll do that sometime. Well, same thing here. If you go back on a full moon night, you gotta get off the trail sometimes, because the ghost train might be down through, and you just have to get out of that, that's all you have to do. And then, coming back into Damascus, that was many years ago, probably a decade or more than that ago on that bike. But, just a quick little video clip coming into Damascus.
This was last fall.
Yeah, this was last fall.
Oh, that's good.
But I want to show you, as you're going to Damascus, you're going to cross the river in Damascus on this little bridge here, which is right at the trailhead where we always park, right in the center of town, basically. Family is chasing me there. The river again is kind of, this is a different river that feeds into the other one, but it's kind of dry too. And you come across little houses. Some of these are Airbnbs, so you can stay in Damascus if you want to. But I just got to thinking, a train used to run through here, right by these houses. I think at 2 o'clock in the morning, he's approaching a crossing, he's gonna have to blow that whistle. It's gonna be loud, wake you up. So, but now it's just cyclists and hikers.
I mean, it still feels like Damascus. I mean, it's just very cool that they have that many people come through and it impacts the economy.
And then another place we love to stay is in Abington. It's called the Martha. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's built into
The Martha Washington Inn.
Martha, Washington in the early 1800s, I think.
Yeah, it was built by some general in the early 1800s, and it became a women's college.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful place to stay. So you can imagine after a day of riding, you come and sit on the porch here and having something, a nice beverage to drink and enjoy everything. And then
And they
Depot
said-
in Abington is. I'm sorry.
Don't go so fast.
Okay.
Every evening in the Polo, they serve port.
Oh, they do?
So you can just get, after dinner, you go down, they serve you some port. You've never been, it's delightful. We went 3 years ago on our anniversary.
Yeah, it was just a fun place
It's
to
a
stay.
delightful place.
And the depot was really impressive too. It happened to be closed the day I got this picture, but it's just a beautiful brick depot. And it's still an active rail line, you can tell right there by it. And now, one of our favorites in the nation we've come across is the Mickelson Trail. So I'll let Jane tell you about that.
Anybody know where the Mickelson Trail is? It is in South Dakota.
Where?
South Dakota. And it's interesting, I've always
Black
wanted
Hills.
to go there, South Dakota. It's always been on my bucket list. I have Native American roots, hence the feathers, but also some pictures you'll see. So there's a long history, obviously, in that region, good and bad, around the Native American history. But Mickelson was the governor of South Dakota. And back, I think in the 80s, he tried to lobby for a trail. And he got shot down by all the local and state governments. Well, after he passed away, by the way, South Dakota politics is equal to Southern politics. I've never been there. So after he passed away, his son became governor. And his son was able to get it pushed through, and the trail was built, and it was named after his father. It's 109 miles, and we did 109 miles. Former Chicago Burlington
That was
Quincy
before
line.
lunch that morning.
It opened in 1998. It took a while. Like I said, the dad wanted it done in the 80s. It took a little while for the son to get it done. Roughly 150, 200,000 users per year. That is a quarter of the population of South Dakota. So if you think about it per capita, it's very well used. Runs through the Black Hills, absolutely gorgeous, with tunnels, trestles, ranch land, and historic mining towns. We wanted to spend some time on this one, it's so pretty. The north end is Deadwood. Anybody know Deadwood other than a really raunchy TV show?
That's where Wild Bill Hickok was murdered.
Right, so, and Calamity Jane was there.
That's her.
But Deadwood is at the north end, Edgemont is at the south end, with Hill City and Custer in between. Very strong tourism impact for the state. Multi-day ride culture, some people could do it in a day, most people are not. And so therefore, long, very long rural corridor can become a destination trail with statewide impact. And it's beautiful.
We went, since we were gonna do multi-days, we did, was it 5 days and 6 nights, on this trail, which gave us plenty of time. But we went with a group called Bicycle Adventures, so we had other people in our group, about 10 of us, I guess.
I think it was a total of 16, and then 2 guys, yeah.
Okay. But anyway, well, you can see we had the bikes on top and everything. And it starts out at Edgemont, and one of the first things you do is go through this covered bridge, which I thought was really cool. But look on the left side up there, at the trusses, they have the brands of so many of the cattle ranches around there. And every different truss down there will have like 5 different brands of different cattle. So it tells you what kind of country you're in there, which is pretty neat. And we just, again, it's a crushed limestone surface, so it's now like fried bacon again. But we had just started out there and cutting through the hills here. And you get in these valleys like this, and you have to be careful because train robbers get in there. This train robber was waiting on the train, but then he found out there's no train coming, so he got discouraged and left. Anyway.
One thing that's interesting, this is at the southern end of the trail, very arid, dusty, you almost feel like you're in the desert.
Yeah.
And this was the first day, and the elevation's not that high there, it gets higher. But I did struggle on this first day because of how dry it was. And I didn't hydrate well enough. And I was having a hard time to finishing day run.
And we're going from south to north, but we're going slightly downhill most of that way as we do.
It was just hard, I got past it, but it
As
was.
we get further north, you'll see a lot more greenery. Again, we're not the only ones on the trail. I'll show you a quick little clip here.
On your left. Hello.
We did come across a good many horseback riders along the trail. Then, again, kind of arid right in here, and little valleys and stuff like that. This is Johanna, one of our guides. You'll learn about the tutu later. She's wearing.
Yeah.
Coming into one of the tunnels, and it's cold in the tunnels. And there's Johanna there taking pictures. That's why she was running ahead of me.
That's where that cool air was coming from.
You could feel the cool air down right in the trail. It's a hot day, but it feels like all of a sudden somebody turned an air conditioner on. So where's that coming from? Then I approached this tunnel, and the air was coming out of the tunnel, and it was really kind of.
And this section was in the heart of the Black Hills, and it was just gorgeous.
It was. And then, like I said, we stayed overnight, 5 nights, so this was one of the places in Custer State Park, I think that one was. But we always had some cool places to stay. In fact, looking off of our porch there's a lake in the lower left corner there, and we're just looking at this beautiful sunset there.
And that's
So-
Custer State Park,
Custer State
which
Park.
is as beautiful as any national park out there.
I agree. Awesome hiking there. We're at a gas station. There's a coffee shop and restaurant, and so we go in and get some food there. Of course, we met other people that were part of our group that we were with all week. That was just a lot of fun too. And along the trail, they had wells dug at the rest areas, and the water was just ice cold and just perfect. And you'd think it was ice in the water. It was so nice and cool. So at these great rest stops, you can get in the shade, get out the rain or whatever might be happening.
Tell them who we met there.
Huh? Oh yeah, that was cool. We met this guy and his wife here, and got to talking to him. We were in South Dakota, okay? And I asked the guy, I said, "Where is he from?" He said, "Well, we're from North Carolina." I said, "Oh yeah, where?" He said, "Brevard." I said, "Brevard." He said, I said, "We're from Saluda." He said, "You gotta be kidding me." But it turned out he was one of the guys on the board that is building the Acoustic Trail. He and his wife, and they were doing a bunch of trails around, learning things that they're applying to the Acoustic Trail. And it's just like, how random is that? You know,
It was pretty random.
It wasn't just somebody out there so close to you. And again, just one of the trailheads where you can park and go to. This one I had, it's just a beautiful day. One thing I liked about this was the boards are linear.
I like these long linear
And they're
boards.
so smooth.
Flat.
Look at the sky. And we get a little further north now.
This was a 48-mile day.
Beautiful.
This one taxed me a little bit. But I made it.
Somebody spent some money on these fences too. Like these.
You can tell by the look on my face.
So he says,
It's like, get that camera out of my face.
my buddy's screaming at me.
It's gonna be a Triumph Nicholson Trail from 0 to 108.
So Jane, you're not on an e-bike there?
I am on an e-bike and I was still dying.
So far?
Yeah.
Because
On your backside. 48 miles is a long time to sit on your butt. Long time to sit on your butt. And it was still taxing, yeah.
Coming into Hill City, actually here, and you see that gazebo right there, we're gonna have lunch there. So it's a good place for a little lunch break on the trail. And I just put the camera up into the top of the gazebo, just looking down just to make an interesting shot out of it. So that's why it looks like that. But our little lunch spread was always plenty to eat. It was always healthy stuff. It gave us the energy we needed to pedal. After some of the meals, Johanna is a yoga instructor also, so she'd have us doing some yoga and getting ourselves stretched and ready to pedal again. And that was
That's an actual stockade.
an actual stockade that they
Right off the
refurbished.
trail.
And it's got some, inside some of the original lodging inside the stockade, and some of it's in kind of bad shape, and they're refurbishing those and making them like really nice. What a good place to stop and all. And then this is everybody stopped at the mile marker that indicated their age. So I had to stop here at that time. You know,
Yeah.
and then we could.
37.
That's right. That's exactly
I'm
right.
dyslexic too.
All right, we'll do a couple more videos. We probably should keep on by some of them.
We're coming upon the 73-mile marker. Wait, that's my age.
Which is why there's another tunnel. The tunnel's always a good.
Through the tunnel we go. Wow, it's chilly in here. This is nice, but it's quite cool. Must have dropped 10 degrees. And out the other side we go.
They aren't that long, so you got to be back.
Just imagine the train coming down through here, heading north to,
I think I.
not north to Alaska, but north to Deadwood, South Dakota.
Anyway, this is a picture, and one of the bright spots, in the wintertime, being in South Dakota, they have a lot of snow. So in the wintertime, these trails are used for cross-country skiing, for snowmobiling, for snowshoeing, and things like that. So they have these warming huts like this along the way. And this was a fairly cool day, so Jane, I see you standing by the fire there, but you could come into these nice warming huts in the winter, summertime, and this is a nice place to be.
If you don't mind, go back one more time, because I want to make a point about the impact here. This trail, whenever it's completely finished, will be a destination like Nicholson. Because of the beauty of this, once it's completely done.
Oh, absolutely.
And so the people sitting around that table, I would say there's 7 states represented of people who were just on this short tour with us.
Yeah.
And I really, what is it, Backwoods already does some bicycle tours in this area, and it's not even, the trail isn't even here. And so it's really a cool experience to meet people from everywhere and all over and find out how much you have in common.
And just some more of the farmland there. This is again back in the southern part. And another one of the restaurants where we were having breakfast one morning. I just had to shoot that picture of the restaurant with my beautiful wife. And more of the scenery along the way. And let's see. And of course, being a rail corridor, there were some, train places and everything. We could stop and be around the trains. Some cabooses. We saw red cabooses, yellow cabooses, all kinds of cool things. And here's Johanna trying to outrun the train, which is not hard because it's a stationary train. But she did. She beat it. A day with the band after lunch. This was again back at the place where we just saw the snowmobile hut and everything. And then we did some offshoot tours, like to I had never seen Mount Rushmore before. Well, Mount Rushmore is pretty big, right? If you've ever seen it, anybody ever seen it? It's pretty cool. Have you ever seen the Crazy Horse Memorial, which is fairly close to there too? The Crazy Horse is being built. It's going to take them roughly another 80 to 100 years to finish it. That's what they tell us. But the shoulder of Crazy Horse, all of Mount Rushmore can fit on the shoulder of Crazy Horse. That's what they tell us, and that's pretty amazing to see all that. A lot of the girls were wearing tutus on this last day because there's a whole bunch of them together and we're turning 60.
They'd all gone to high school together.
They all gone to high school together.
They came in from all the parts of the country.
So they brought tutus and they were wearing those on this last day. Well, the funny thing about it is I said, well, if wearing tutus, if Mark Twain would have come along, y'all could be a tutu twain. Right?
I did not endorse this slide. I did not.
So when we made it to the 108 mile marker, we only had 1 more mile to go. It was 109 miles. So I said, we took a picture of the 108. Somebody took a shot of us there, and then we got 1 mile to go. So my wife and I absolutely enjoyed our bicycle trip along the 109-mile Mickelson Rails to Trail from Edgemont to Deadwood, South Dakota recently. In the title of this video, I said what not to do on the Mickelson Trail. Well, most of what you see you do want to do. Lots of wonderful exercise, fresh air, time with friends, good food, just an overall good time. Once we finished the 109 miles, I quickly learned what not to do though. You'll see what I mean in this video. Come on, honey. What? Come on here. Yay, we made it! Whoa, look at that!
You okay?
Yeah.
Nah, let's stop for a minute.
Always remember that you should keep both hands on the handlebars, but if you do high-five a friend like I did, keep an eye out for who might be stopping in front of you and high-five with your left hand instead of leaving it on the front brake. All is well, I hurt nothing but my pride, but it was in front of all of my friends at that. Just remember to keep the rubber side down and have a great ride. That's what you not do on the trail. Don't leave that left hand on the front brake. That'll get you around.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to go to the last thing here, the Saluda Grade Trails. But to do that, I was looking along here, and this is, you recognize this picture, the rail like you're looking under the bridge back at town. And it made me think of something Pablo Picasso said, when he says, others have seen what is, and they ask why. I have seen what could be, and ask why not. So I said, well, what would this look like in the future? Well, when they get all this done, I wanted to go to the future to get some pictures, because I love photographing things, so don't tell anybody, but in the back room back there, we have a time machine. And it has to have wheels, but we didn't have a DeLorean, so our time machine back there is only.
That was a Back to the Future reference, the DeLorean, in case you missed it.
In case you missed that. But anyway, so I borrowed this machine to go into the future a little bit and take some pictures. So I turned and look at that, how it's changed.
Wow.
These are some things it could be. And I went multiple times, so you'll see different seasons of them. And right here on the side of the bridge, there's a restaurant or a brewery or something right there. As you come out, the trail goes down through there.
Ralph, how wide do you think that's going to be?
Pardon?
How wide do you think that trail's gonna be?
Probably about that.
Probably 10 feet.
Probably right about that.
Yeah.
Probably 10 feet. It'll be
Okay.
31 and a half miles long when it's
Right,
finished. but
right.
10 feet, I would guess. 10
So in
feet.
case he hasn't told you, he didn't really go to the future.
Oh, wait.
He just used a little AI, but I thought he did a beautiful job.
Well, what you're gonna see here, every one of these are pictures that I have taken out here on the track. So these are all real pictures I took, but it did a little adjusting to it. There's a gazebo again.
And that reminds you of TR? Mm-hmm.
Yep, reminds me a lot of TR. And we have dual rails coming through town, so in this case, it decided to say, hey, let's have one path going one way, one the other, down through there. But here's a place where the trail kind of splits right across from the depot. And then along here, see, Saluda Grade Trail, Saluda, North Carolina, you're coming through a beautiful spring day. People walking, people cycling, pushing strollers, just having a good old time. And the winter time. In the winter, it's not used just in the summer. We get a good snow. You could do some snowshoeing, some cross-country skiing down through there. And again, these are pictures I shot around here. I just took the rails out and added the other things.
There you go.
There you
As Nina was just saying, we might even have a caboose. We've talked about leaving one set of rails, having a caboose there so people could come and be part of the depot and, introduce that
That would be really
part.
cool.
I like the kiosk.
That'd be really good.
Those are
Yeah, the little kiosk
historical
there.
markers of that.
Tells about the caboose and the trail and things like that. So Saluda is starting to look good in the future, as it already does, and we have picnic tables already there.
Yeah.
So, this scene has a picnic table in it and people eating and people cycling along the trail
And they're all wearing helmets, which is great.
yeah. But this trail comes off the main trail, comes up to where the old, farmer's market used to be, coming out there is just an offshoot into a parking area.
Parking area, yeah.
But you see the possibilities of what
Yeah.
could be around here? So, just in closing our presentation tonight, the connecting possibilities, we call it, extending the history rather than erasing the history.
Which we've seen with all of these other
All these
trails,
other
and that was
trails,
why
yeah.
I wanted to talk about the history of these trails. I think it's important.
Connecting towns along the trail and combining the past, the present, and the future. So, as the sun is setting outside on the trail, let's just enjoy the sunset on the trail and see what
And
it's
that is a
like.
picture he took. He just had it adapted.
Yes, it is. So anyway, thank y'all for coming tonight. Again,